Tonight we take you to the Hawks of the Trailblazers. The line in this game is anywhere between 4.5 and 5.5. Seems like it's coming down based on uh, guys out on both sides. And Portland's very good home record as usual, but Portland of the beginning of the season is nothing like Portland now, which is a shadow of its former self. Take the whole backcourt out for Portland today, and Trae Young gets his 30. But I think, besides the play being obviously Atlanta, not sure why this line is coming down, but I think people are just looking up at the board and seeing, wow, how is Portland getting points at home? And that's been money over the years. It's not in this game. The East Coast teams generally are playing tougher, but Atlanta is finding their stride right at this part in the season, which is what they did last year. Here's the way I go with this. The money line has come down significantly, so if you want to just not sweat it out too much, go ahead and take the money line. But I think you can lay 4.5, 5.5. I think you can lay 8.5 in this with Atlanta, unless they really fuck it up. I don't really see a way for them to not blow this team out. Look at the Lakers the other night. They were a 5.5, I believe, favorite against Portland, and ended up beating them by open margin, boxcars. And LeBron James, most importantly, who played power forward and may actually be the best power forward on the Lakers, and that's saying a lot considering they usually start the brow. He had, but that's hard to deny when you see that he had his season high 46 points in that game. So here's what I would recommend in this game is that, get on your site, get creative. Go ahead and assume Trae Young gets his 30 with a backup backcourt, and parlay it right down the line with every at least points you can get with Capela. Take him at 16, take him at 18, take him at 20, take him at 22. You're going to get 2-1 on 18 points with Capela, or maybe 20 points. Now, he had 20 in his last game. His season average is, I think, around 12, 13, 14 maybe. Doesn't really matter in this game. Totally insignificant. His average against terrible defensive teams who cannot guard front courts is whatever he wants it to be. And I have a feeling we're going to see the explosive young Capela show that we saw in the playoffs last year in full display tonight, having a good old time in Portland, where, by the way, it's interesting, the Portland crowd wears their masks, and it is not the loud rose garden we're used to in the past, and also they're just not generally into it with no Damian Lillard starting, and now that they get the feeling that Damian Lillard doesn't even want to be on this team. This is really interesting, and I think Portland's going to provide a lot of value to fade Portland for the next few games, because until the lines catch up with them, I mean, they are terrible with Lillard in, with Lillard out. You got McCollum, who has a collapsed lung. I mean, this is just not a Portland team that's headed in the right direction. Meanwhile, we know Atlanta's headed in the right direction. We know they're in the... So where are the wins going to come from? Well, they're definitely going to come from the Ducks. One thing we know about Atlanta is when they have a duck, they do not lay an egg. They are not a team that plays down to their competition. They will blow a team out. They will put them away. They will have fun doing it, and they will have fun doing it tonight. So take an alt line, take whatever you want in Atlanta, but, my thought is just lay the 4.5 because it's a gift, or take a money line if you're a nervous player. But where the real money is in Capela. Capela probably gets a season high tonight. Why not? Why wouldn't he? This is the wide open spot for him to do it. There is no Nurkic. There is nobody in there to stop him. And, I imagine he'll have some blocks, but I'm not really sure how Portland plays it. So with the lineup that they have, with Norman Powell going to be their main offensive weapon, not sure how they play that. So I would leave all of that alone, and I would just go ahead and figure that if you look at the over-unders and the 4 players most shops have up for player totals, it doesn't make sense. I mean, what are they going to score, 80 points in the game? No, they're going to score 130. So, they're probably 3 of the 4 will go over. But the one I really, really like, and you can go back and do your own research and see that with or without Lillard, Portland is always allowing the front court to score opposition teams. So, play around with it. Take Capela and some parlays with Trae Young. Just go right down that measuring tape, I call it, of, at least Will he have this many points at least that most shops will offer? So I took Capela at least 16, at least 18, at least 14, at least 20, at least 22. I went all the way to 24, which would be 4 higher than a season total. But depending on your shop, you might get 8-1 on that. Very, very generous in a game that they're going to just score a hell of a lot of points. And if they should happen to blow the game, at least you'll get the points. If you want to play it really conservatively, you could just take the over with Capela and you're home free. I mean, it's 13.5. It's down from 14, which is amazing to me. How would Capela be down? No idea. But they're going to be running up and down the court. There's going to be a lot of missed shots, which means there's going to be a lot of fast breaks. And Capela's going to be on the tail end of those alley-oops from Young and getting fouled, and he's not a bad free throw shooter either to boot. So there you go. Take that one to the bank, and we'll see you next time.